Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever just stared at a complex machine and wondered, how on earth does all that work together? Well, today, we're doing more than just looking under the hood. We're going to deconstruct the very language of machines, from the pure geometry of how things move to the actual nuts and bolts that hold them together.
Okay, take a look at this engine. It looks impossibly complex, right? A total maze of metal. But what if I told you we could understand how this entire thing works by starting with just one single rigid part? Stick with me because by the end of this, you're going to see the beautiful simplicity hiding inside all this complexity.
You see, to unlock the secrets of that engine, or any machine really, we need to learn its language. And yeah, you heard that right. Mechanics has its own vocabulary, its own set of rules that describe how things connect, move, and work together. And today, we're going to become fluent. I want you to think of it like the ultimate Lego set. Seriously. No matter how big or intimidating a machine looks, you can almost always break it down into just four fundamental building blocks. Once you master these four concepts, you've basically got the blueprint for almost every machine out there. All right, so here they are, our four foundational pieces. We start with a single part, called a link. Then we connect two of them together, and that creates what's called a kinematic pair. You string a few of those together, and now you've got a kinematic chain. And for the final step, you anchor that chain, and boom, you've got a mechanism. Let's dig into each one. First up is the link. This is our simplest Lego brick. It's just any single rigid part of a machine. And here's a little bit of trivia for you. Things you might think of as floppy, like a spring or a belt, they only get to be called links when they're pulled tight and acting like a rigid part. Kind of cool, right? Okay, so you've got your links, now you got to connect them. That connection point, that joint, that's a kinematic pair. It could be a hinge, it could be a sliding track, whatever it is, it's the click that connects our Lego blocks together. Now we are getting somewhere. Once you start connecting multiple links and pairs, you create a kinematic chain. And this is where it gets fun, because now you have a whole assembly of parts that can actually move and flex and interact with each other. But here is the absolute key, the secret sauce. A floppy, wobbly chain isn't a useful machine. To make it do something predictable, you have to fix one of those links to something solid, like a frame. The moment you do that, it becomes a mechanism. By locking down just one part, the motion of everything else becomes controlled, predictable, and useful. And this slide shows you exactly why that matters. On the left, you've got an open chain. See how that end piece is just flapping around? Totally useless. But on the right, you have a closed chain, where everything is connected in a loop. That closed loop is the secret. It's what creates that constrained, predictable motion that makes machines actually work. Okay, so we've established that joints are how we connect our links. But the story gets a whole lot deeper, because the type of joint you use is what really defines what a machine can do. So let's dive into the different kinds of joints. You know, engineers love to categorize things. It helps them make sense of the world. And they classify these joints, these kinematic pairs, in three main ways. First, by how the parts actually touch each other. Second, by what's holding them together. And third, by the kind of movement they allow. Let's start with contact. You've got what's called a lower pair, where there's a big surface area touching, like a piston inside a cylinder. These are the workhorses, fantastic for handling big forces. Then you have a higher pair, where the contact is just a tiny point or a line, like a wheel rolling on a track. These are great for more precise, delicate movements. Now let's meet the big six, the fundamental types of lower pairs. The first three are the simplest because they only allow one kind of movement, or one degree of freedom. You've got the revolute pair, that's just a simple hinge, like on your door. Then the prismatic pair, which is the sliding motion of a drawer. And the screw pair, a nut and a bolt, turning rotation into forward motion. The other three lower pairs are a bit more multi-talented. A cylindrical pair can both spin and slide along an axis. A spherical pair, that's a ball and socket joint, just like in your shoulder, giving you a huge range of rotation. And a flat pair lets an object slide around freely on a surface, kind of like an air hockey puck. So, up until now, we've been in the clean, perfect world of theory and geometry. But it's time to get our hands dirty. How do we take these elegant ideas and actually build them in the real world? This is where the blueprint meets the bolts. This leads to one of the most fundamental questions in engineering. Okay, you've designed this perfect motion on your computer, but how are you physically going to fasten all the pieces together? And more importantly, do you need it to stay together forever, or do you need to be able to take it apart later for repairs? On one side of that question, you have permanent joints. Think of a welder fusing steel beams together for a bridge, or rivets holding the skin of an airplane on. These joints are built for one thing: strength and permanence. They are designed to never, ever come apart. And if you try, you're gonna have to break them. But on the other side, you have the clever alternative: temporary joints. We're talking about all the nuts, bolts, screws, and clamps in the world. Their entire purpose is to hold things together securely, but also to be taken apart without damaging anything. This is absolutely essential for anything that needs maintenance, like, a car engine. And this table really just sums it all up. Permanent joints give you incredible strength, but you sacrifice serviceability. Temporary joints give you all the flexibility you need for repairs, but they might not be as strong or as cheap. It's that classic engineering trade-off that designers have to weigh every single day. So, now, let's zoom all the way out. Let's see how all of these pieces we've talked about, from the simplest theoretical idea to the most practical real-world choice, come together to form this amazing engineering ecosystem. And here it is, the circle of life for machines. You start with the simplest concept: a rigid link. You connect them with kinematic pairs. You assemble those into predictable mechanisms. And then, using real-world permanent or temporary joints, you build those mechanisms into the incredible functional machines that power our entire world. It all flows together. So here's my question for you. The next time you open a hinged door, or use a pair of scissors, or even just watch your windshield wipers swish back and forth, you'll see them differently. You now speak the language of motion. You see the links, the pairs, the mechanism. So, what's the first thing you're going to look at and truly understand?